1,002. Ooh, phew. New record. So you want to learn dragon flags? All right, I'll show you how. Let's do it. What's going on, guys? My name's Justin Bauer. Thanks for checking out Sorta Gymnastics. This page is dedicated to functional fitness, athletics, aesthetics, and lifestyle. Today we're gonna be breaking down the dragon flags. So if you're interested in content like this, make sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell because we are churning out content. But anyway, back to the matter at hand, dragon flags. Good for you for coming here. This is the most intense ab exercise. It's also the most effective ab exercise. And I love it. I mean, the reason is because I don't need to do like 500 sit-ups a day. I can do 25 dragon flags and have like my abs completely shredded and sore. It's incredibly effective. It's difficult. Everyone loves it. Like if you're in the gym and if you even see people doing those like 𝗕𝗚, the L pushes, you're like, oh, okay, that person's kind of a badass. But if you see him do a dragon flag, like that's some Bruce Lee shit, all right? And today we're gonna be breaking it down for you. So the dragon flags, there are a handful of places to do this. However, the most common places that I've seen are on a flat bench where you reach behind your head and hold onto that seat material, or also by using a pole. And this one is interesting. You kind of need to figure out interesting ways to grip it by switching your hand placement or also interlocking your fingers. I prefer the flat bench just because you can kind of get a better grip on the seat, and then everything is also kind of even. So we like to keep it even here. It's not super sexy, but we already talked about how intense the dragon flags are. It's important to be loose, all right? So there are a few stretches that I'd absolutely recommend before doing your dragon flags, and these are hip flexor stretches, both on the right side and the left side, stretching the quads. I like to butt up my shin against the wall and kind of get that deep quad stretch, because when you're doing these dragon flags, your hip flexors are engaged, even your quads are firing a little bit. The last stretching exercise I'd recommend is basically doing just a seal pose. So just laying on your stomach, pushing up, and then also rocking both directions. And this is really gonna open everything up. So the fundamental technique to the dragon flag, you are reaching behind your head and grabbing onto either that seat cushion or that pole or whatever you can find, pulling into that position that in yoga it's called a candlestick, and from here you kind of use your abs to lower down completely flat to the earth. Once you're completely flat, you kind of do this pulling motion, and this is super intense. This is really difficult, but you are pulling back up to that candlestick position. So basically, your abs are bearing the entire load of your lower half, even your torso. So your abs are holding on to everything underneath your nipples, pretty much. Nipples down to your toes. If you're not familiar or comfortable doing ab exercises at all, I'd highly recommend going back to get some of these foundations, such as the dish holds, the dish rocks, the oblique holds, both sides, even V-ups, jackknives, jackknives with the ball, anything to like elongate your body and build these abs down from your pelvis all the way to the top abs. You're gonna need everything for this move. So as far as the progressions to the dragon flags are concerned, I'd highly recommend starting with just the tuck-ups, because this is gonna get you comfortable holding onto the mat behind you. You're holding this position and you're tucking up to that candlestick. And that alone is gonna be building your abs already. So it's like a great first step to this. The next step I'd recommend is an 𝗕𝗚 pike push. So this is where your legs are straight up in the air, pointing towards the ceiling, and then pushing up. This is again gonna replicate the motion, and this in and of itself is pretty badass. So I mean, if you can do this, good for you, because it is not easy. So you could directly try to just jump into doing these dragon flags. However, it's super difficult, and there are a handful of steps that I like to take before that. So the first one I like to do is back in this candlestick position, what's known as a one-legged negative. You are fighting against gravity, holding that strong position with one leg out. And an important thing here is you want to keep everything balanced. So you're going to want to have your left side worked, your right side worked, make sure everything is even, because when you bring everything together, you're going to want the strong core that can ultimately support both your legs. So switch off. So once you are very comfortable with negatives, the next step is isometric. So you are vertical in the air right here, and then once you're falling and fighting against gravity, see if you can hold it. Just see if you can hold this position. Like, let's just say we have 60 degrees. Then the next thing, can you go to 45 and hold it? Keep going. It's even like 30 degrees. If you can hold it here, you are getting really strong in this position. And as you get closer to the ground, it's gonna get more intense. The next step I'd recommend is pushing up from baseline. See if you can push from the flat bench all the way up to that one-legged candlestick position. If you can do this, you can completely do a one-legged dragon flag. If that's too difficult, start with a 90-degree candlestick with one leg out, go to 45 degrees and push up. So back down to 45 and then push up. You're gonna wanna beat this thing up from literally every direction. Once you have your one-legged dragon flags on both legs, the next step is to repeat the exact same steps with both your legs. Do the two-legged negatives, do the two-legged isometrics, and ultimately do the two-legged concentric pushes. So back down to 45, push up. Starting from flat, push up. 90 degrees, 45 degrees, back up to 90. Beat the thing up. It's not gonna come easy. This is, again, the most difficult ab exercise, so it's gonna be taking time. So as far as troubleshooting is concerned, there are a handful of things that you can do. If you find that one progression is a little bit too difficult, like the concentric, the one-legged concentric, if that is too hard for you, go back and beat up the isometrics. Really get that down pat, because even being in this position, even fighting against gravity with the negatives, you are getting stronger and you're ultimately working towards your goal of the dragon flag. And if you find yourself stuck, then just stay at that position and play with it. There are a handful of things that I did to continually develop my dragon flags. I do things like flutter kicks. I will do like high knees. You can experiment with adding your shoes or also ankle weights, and these things are really good in adding kind of an intermediate step between one position and the next, because you're adding a little bit more load, and that could just be the strength that pushes you to the next level. And lastly, you need to be patient and have fun with it. Like I already mentioned, this is a very, very difficult ab exercise. It's the hardest thing you can do out there. If you can't do it on your first try, don't worry, I couldn't do it on my first try either. I had to take my time, I had to go through the progressions, and ultimately I learned it. And if I can learn it, you can too. Make sure you're having fun, get out there, put the work in, and make it happen. So guys, that's gonna be it for this video. Check out the backflip prerequisite ab exercises that I had mentioned earlier. And if you like content like this from sort of gymnastics, functional fitness, athletics, aesthetics, lifestyle, all that stuff, make sure you're subscribed, hit that notification bell, and make sure you like it. I'm gonna be churning out videos. I wanna hear from you. Let me know how your dragon flags go, all right? See you guys.